Welcome to another beautiful morning here on Politics and Business Television here in Abuja on our P&B morning shows. Here this morning on this particular section, we're going to be having some issues that happened yesterday or some days back and currently happenings there in Nigeria. Every day we have new things that come up. Here with me in the studio, I have Abraham. Here we're going to be having this longer 2 hours discussion here in the studio. Good morning, Abraham.
Shitu, I am happy to be in this section with you.
Thank you very much, Abraham. It's same here, and I believe as we are going about to go on 2 hours straight journey on, we have to pick a lot of discussions and trending issues and what happens and what is happening in Nigeria. We are very funny. Yesterday we know a lot of issues. I mean, the day before yesterday, that was when we had that. The immediate past governor of Kogi State was, sentenced to Kuje prison, and that remind me, while this same man was serving the people of Kogi, the former senator from that, state, he said, Senator Milai, he says that, he said it like,
it's a prophecy.
yes, that he sang it like a song that. Yaya Mash, something like he's going to go for prison, things like that. Sometimes our politicians in this country,
but it's long overdue. It's just that.
Why will you say it's long overdue?
It's long overdue because looking at the whole Buhaha and then the way the whole drama is a drama. That's to tell you the Nigerian politics. But we're not going to dwell on that because it's already done. Already the white lion
but don't you think that, because of what happened during the Bobrisky saga, are you saying that man is going to the real prison or VVIP?
I don't see that.
If Bobrisky should be given that kind of VIP treatment.
No, Bobrisky, you know why Bobrisky had that treatment is that people were not too focused on his issues. If you look at what happened.
Are you sure?
Yes. But looking at.
Or should we say because Bobrisky was not politics? It was a entertainment or social.
Entertainment, and then he abused the naira. That was just the focus.
There are a lot of conspiracy
apart from that, what really brought Bobrisky down was that issue that he went viral, as in he was trampling on the money. He was doing a lot of he abused that privilege.
Of course, he did. I don't even know whether I use he or she. But for me, she. I wouldn't use he.
No, we say he. She.
Okay, fine. Now that's what Abraham said. That he she. But for me, I prefer to say he because according to Watson, his profile is Idris or Kunaya or something. And the last time I checked, Idris, yes, he's a man. He's a male gender. He's a he. So that's the reason why I won't go. If he decides to turn itself into something else, that is a cup of tea. Well, like we said, that's not our focus this morning. Our focus, we have the issue of I beg your pardon. It seems today is World and Civil Society, or no, Human Rights.
Human rights.
Yes, we're going to look into that, Abraham. And also, we have the electoral reforms and docility of Nigerians.
Yes.
I think that should be our first discussion. Like I said, politics makes everything. Politics makes your economics. Politics makes your security. Politics makes your entertainment.
Of course.
Mention it. Politics is life.
Yeah.
So if that's, I used to say that to our youths, if you say that you have no business with politics, you are not helping our society.
Yes.
Because if you sit down there that you don't want involved in the bad game, I'm telling you, the bad people will come into the bad game and they will give you bad results.
Good. And then I remember a quote from Abraham Lincoln.
Okay.
In one of his quotes, he said, "Until when the people, the good people, come to power, the bad people will stop being bad."
See, that's
So,
Abraham Lincoln.
yes, so you see, this is like about 60 years ago.
Wow.
Are you getting it?
Yeah.
So, but what we're finding in Africa and Nigeria is like the good people, you and I, that understand the usefulness of humanity, the usefulness of the resources we get. You understand? But we stay aback, eh? And we allow those people, because most of these people you see in the House of Assembly and the Senate, most of them, if you go through their profile, they are nothing to talk about. Sincerely, because they allow the good, that is the people who had it all. Imagine a senator who is having just a certificate, a professor is he's a consultant. Is it not an error?
Of course.
You get it?
Big
So
error.
we want to see a professor of politics, you get, in the Senate. We want to see a Democrat, a doctor
of politics.
We want to see a journalist who has a retired, like we used to have
Silver,
Just
Engineer
imagine,
Abu,
good, if you have people like that,
John Momo,
and
Fatima, some of NTA,
yes,
those
so
veterans.
if you have these people in the Senate, what will you see?
Of course.
You get the point. So we need people who have the intellect, not these people that you just buy them with a stipend.
Well, these are part of the reforms, electoral
Yes.
reforms that we're talking about, because it encompasses a lot of things. But, like I said, we are going to dwell and we have our focus this morning. We are not going to go outside the box because the reason why we are here to discuss some critical issues, like I said earlier, and that is what is going to be our target this morning. Like we said, our first discussion on this morning is going to be the reforms and the docility of Nigerians. But before we come back, Abraham, we're going to go on a short break now so that we're going to have this discussion properly and we're going to dwell into it because I believe our guest is even online to join us at the moment. So let's quickly have a short break and we come back and we introduce our guest in a short break. Okay, welcome back from the short break. And I said earlier, Abraham, once again, good morning and welcome to Politics and Business Morning Show TV. We're going to be having discussion on electoral reforms and the docility of Nigerians. Here, we're joined by Mr. Emmanuel Oluwo. Am I right with the name, Mr. Emmanuel? Good morning, sir.
Good morning. My name is Emmanuel Oluwu.
Okay, Mr. Emmanuel Oluwu. Mr. Emmanuel Oluwu is is a chairman committee for defense of human rights, CDHR, Ocean chapter. Am I right, Mr. Emmanuel?
Yes, we are very, very correct.
Thank you very much. Good morning to you,
It's a pleasure.
and how's your night? So, a quick one, Mr. Emmanuel. With the topic
Yes.
in your front is electoral reforms and docility of Nigerians. What will you say about this topic? What will you say about the reform of the electoral reform? I mean, the electoral reforms and the docility of Nigerians. What will you say to that, Mr.
Now,
Man?
good morning. Good morning to everyone in the studio.
Good morning,
Number
Mr.
one,
Emmanuel.
over time between 1999 to 2022, the electoral system or the electoral act of Nigeria has not been really, really balanced. But let us give kudos to the Electoral Act 2022, in which in that act a lot of reforms were made. But despite the fact that we still have reforms in that, we still have reforms in the electoral process, we still have some certain challenges which the Apex Court has also punctured some certain areas, because there are some things that were introduced by INEC that was not in that act. Example of such is the beavers, and stating that they will be showing how the election is being, how we are voting. As people are voting, the beavers will be showing it, to the people to see. But the Apex Court has punctured it that the Commission does not have the right to do so because of the fact that it is not included in the Act. So what I'm trying to say in essence is that the Act itself still needs a bit of reform, so that the duty of our electoral process will be so clear. But over time, we have to be sincere with ourselves. The Act has been so fantastic. In 2020, the Act in 2022 has worked out a lot.
Okay. Aside the Beavers electoral, I mean the one you just said, can you just mention for Nigeria, for the benefit of Nigerians to know exactly? Because if you have given kudos to the 2022 Electoral Act bill, I would like you to tell us, okay, mention 1, 2, or 2, 3 for us that Nigerians can at least use as a reference that yes, Mr. Emmanuel said this, and exactly we fact check and we discover that yes, it is true.
Do you want me to mention the positive areas or the achievement that the Electoral Act has?
Both. If you can give us, if the time permits you to do that, you can just give us a very brief, maybe 2, 2 or 1, 1, for the benefit of Nigerians.
Now, when you look at, there are some constraints in the electoral reform over time. What are part of the constraints? We have always been having technological challenges, voter suppression, and non-compliance with the electoral laws. A lot of things of such has been happening. But when you look at the Electoral Act that we just have now, we are going to discover that there are a lot of transformation that occurs. An example of one of such transformation, although which is being contained at the Apex Court, is example of the fact that the electoral body is saying, the INEC is saying, we will be transmitting live. And these are things that Nigerians have always been looking up to. You see, a lot of now, and when you look at the electoral reforms also, we are talking about the nomination of candidates, which was strictly an internal affairs of political parties before. But according to this present electoral act, it is not strictly an affairs of the party. It is not just by people just gathering themselves somewhere and nominating someone. The electoral act has made it possible for political parties to not just by picking, but by ensuring that there is a vote, their delegate comes together to pick the candidate that the party is going to present. It is not just about somebody sitting down somewhere and somebody just picking somebody to come over and just become the governor of the party, the representative, the candidate of the party. Now, what the electoral act is part of what the electoral act is saying, that there must be an election within the party. The delegates of the party have to sit down to vote and to appoint just one person. And part of the advantages of that is just that nobody from somewhere will not just be seated somewhere, as a set of people will not just come and say this is the person we are using as our presidential candidate, as our governorship candidate, as our senatorial candidate. No, the Electoral Act has given a space for that, at least for people of the party to take a decision. So that is one of those advantages of the present Electoral Act.
Mr. Emmanuel, I heard you very well. And from all you have explained, I think with this information, if it's going to see the light of the day, Nigerians will be so glad, because what we have just recently in the local government election, you could see the bastardization of the election, and then the governor takes it all. Is it going to be the same as usual?
Now, when we are talking about the local government election, we are going to discover that in different states, every state has its own electoral body. And every of the electoral body in each state is subjected to the ruling and to the instructions of the state governors of those states. And that is why a lot of people are still calling for a reform, that it is the Independent Electoral Commission, INEC, that should be coordinating the elections that will be going on across all local governments. A lot of argument has come in that direction. And as a matter of fact, in the kind of reform has to come in, because we have seen that every of the election that has come up to report, that has started since 2 years now till now, we have seen that it is the governors of each state, it is their political party that are wiping up every of the seats of this local government elections, of this local government contestants, local government election. So what I'm trying to say in essence is that our electoral act still needs a kind of reform, and that as a matter of fact, all electoral body of each state have to be put down. And why is it so? It is because of the fact that governors of each state have always been trying to dominate the state across all local governments in their domain. And see, it is not just, and again we must know something. It is not just all about us making reforms, but we Nigerians changing our mentality approach if truly we want our democracy to succeed. And if you look at what the APC chairman just said after the Ondo election, he said that they are going gradually to take over Osun. So if the federal government can also be using his power, his might, to overpower all states, to take over all states, all in the name that they want Nigeria to become a one-party system. So if the federal government is also doing that, if the political party chairman of the political party can make such pronunciation that what they are doing now is that they are going gradually, they want to go and take over Osun, they are no longer talking about democratic process, but they are talking about how they are going to take over power by all means. And don't let us forget the issue of vote buying and vote selling. Don't let us forget the just concluded election where people said they bought votes, that they gave them 5,000, some said 25,000, which is against the present electoral act. So what I'm trying to say in essence is that it is not just about us talking about the local government where the state governors are taking over all local government by all force. We should also talk about the federal government also putting every mechanism in place to subvert the democratic process and ensure that all parties, their party emerges at all costs. We all should be women, and we all should have this democratic standing and have that orientation that without democracy, there is nowhere we are heading to as a people.
Mr. Manuel, sorry, I need to take you back a little.
Okay.
The chairman of the APC is not wrong by saying they want to take over the country, because we had it previously with the PDP. When they were on stage, they said they're going to rule this country for 60 years, which I think you still have a memory of that. So for the APC to say that, I think is for the Nigerian people to say, okay, we've heard you, but if you're going to put food on every Nigerian's table, if you're going to give us a better work for every Nigeria, if we're going to go to every Nigerian market and say, okay, today we can go to Wuse market, and buy garri a mudu for 2 naira, then you can rule us for God knows when. But if you cannot give us all those things, I beg to differ, and I want to tell you sincerely that come 2027, I'm not speaking for any party, but I'm speaking for the Nigerian people. If the Electoral Act is well reformed, I don't think these two parties will see the light of the day because Nigerians are tired, Nigerians are hungry, Nigerians are is on their neck.
Already choked.
They are choked. So I want to tell you sincerely, the party will always say that because that is their major
Targets.
yes, tactics. But we want to assure them if the Electoral Act reform will see the light of the day, majority of them will not see to come back to their various seats.
Well, Abraham, let me come in a bit on this. Mr. Manuel, you see, for a politician to say that is expected. What do you expect him to say? That they are not going to take over? And like my colleague here said in the studio, that PDP has also said something of them, that they are going to rule the country for 50
years,
or 60 years.
60 years.
So it's a normal thing for them. You know, and don't forget as well, quickly, that even before the Ondo election that we're talking about, the PDP, I mean, the governor of Oyo State, Engineer Seyi Makinde, said that the election, 2027 election, is between APC and Nigerian. That is not even between APC and any party. So, you know, trying to know, to back up what my colleague said in the studio, you know, the decision is in the hand of Nigerians. The work is in the hand of Nigerians. If whatever any politician or any political party want to say, they should say it. They have their mouth to say it. But as far as Nigeria want to resist, like, no, okay, we saw what happened in Ghana of recent, in Africa. We saw what happened in the United States of America, 2 months or there about a month, where Donald Trump came back. After he lost in 2020?
Yes,
yeah, 2020.
Yes.
When he lost to the same party, to the same candidate. Now Kamala Harris has also been defeated. So, no, these are where electoral forms are really working. Although there's no anywhere in the world that they have 100% perfections. But if Nigeria too can say no, although like you said, I'm also saying, I'm not speaking for any political parties. I don't have interest in that. Our duty here is to tell Nigerians the right and to let them know that this is what you should do. Because our country at the moment, what is happening to us today, I won't say because I'm a journalist, if I'm going to the same market, especially we in Abuja, we only have one market.
Of course.
The way the bourgeoisie and the proletariat get, we both, all of us meet together. The upper class and the lower classes.
They all come to the market.
We all come to the Wuse market. So if they are selling 10 naira, if they are selling tomato for 10 naira for senator, they are selling the same thing to me. They won't say because I'm not a senator. They won't say because I'm not the governor. They won't say because I'm not the son of the senator. So once you are in that market, Wuse market, Jabi market, you are buying at the same control price. So therefore, I also have the right to speak as a Nigerian. You understand? So I think it is a right for any political party or politician as an individual to say. But the point here is that Nigerians should resist any intimidation, any oppression from whoever is coming from. I think that's my own point. So let me give it the room to say what else you want to say about it.
Now let me quickly say this. For every politician that has made such words, such postulation in a country where we have been passing through series of hard times since the days of Muhammad Buhari, when APC gave the pattern of hardship to Nigeria under Tinubu's administration, and Tinubu followed suit. And we continue to have it like this. And when Tinubu came on board, President Bola met Tinubu when he came on board, we continue with the challenges, and there is no means of peace and joy for the Nigerian people. And under that same atmosphere, they continue to contest election and they continue to win. We must understand that every of their postulation is nothing but they have exhibited nothing but a democratic rascality against the Nigerian people. For them not to be ashamed to make presentation that their party is going to take over the entire country. We must understand something. If they have the boldness and the tenacity to come out and say they are going to take over power and they can take over power, is an indication that they are not ashamed of themselves. Industries are leaving the country. Unemployment is jacking up on daily basis. People can no longer afford 3 square meals. The Nigerian economy is in shambles, and you are coming to say you want to take over power. What are you taking over power for? Now, you now make a presentation that it is left in the hands of the Nigerian people, the electorate, for them to take a decision. Let me tell you, between 1999 and now, the Nigerian Constitution has been reviewed for about 5 times. And over the review that we have passed through and we have experienced, there has never been a time that those that have been reviewing the Constitution has ever talked about the Chapter 2 of the Nigerian Constitution. When we are talking about the Chapter 2 of the Nigerian Constitution, we are talking about the fundamental principles of how a state can be governed. And under that Chapter 2, if it is being justiciable, if the Chapter 2 of the Nigerian Constitution is being justiciable, that is when we will be able to hold our political leaders to ransom. We will be able to take them to court. We will be able to tell them that they have no other option than for them to provide food, for them to provide accommodation, for them to provide clothing, for them to provide housing for every of the Nigerian people. Let me tell you this morning. If we are still in the claim and in the state and in the space that we have today as the collateral and the electorate, who are suffering from every of the corrupt practices of our leaders since 1999 till date, then we must understand that at every election, Nigerians will not be able to take an independent choice. Because a man that is feeling hungry, there is nothing we are going to tell him. Now, let me quickly say, we need a God in a man that is going to come over and help us transform and make some certain things work. Look, the fact that, I repeat it, the fact that the APC chairman has said it, the fact that the PDP in their previous time during Jonathan said it, that they want to continue in power, that they are continuing, is nothing but an expression of democratic rascality which the Nigerian people have to against. But I want to quickly say it. I want to quickly say it today, that every Nigerian, every poor Nigerian who are experiencing this hard time must begin to understand that we have to take away power from the rich and give it to the poor. Without us taking the power from the rich and giving it to the poor, every of these reforms that we are talking about, nothing about the reform is going to transform into anything good. So what I'm trying to say in essence is that the reforms are good. We need reforms in the land, but the fact that there are challenges, there are lacunas in our reform, but not just about the reform, but about us having a set of people that they are of God in a man who can sit down and begin to pursue a national growth and national development, not and stop pursuing what they felt is going to give them joy and peace. Thank you.
Mr. Emmanuel, sorry, I will cut you short, but I want to ask you a question because you speak more like a pastor, but I don't know when you said a God in a man. But I want to tell you sincerely, until when Nigerians are ready, you see, when you talk about God, I don't want to tell you that I'm not fine with that word, but I want to tell you sincerely that, you see, when man is hungry, do you know what happened to a man that is hungry? They said a hungry man is what?
The Chapter 2 of the Nigerian Constitution. If we do not make that Chapter 2 to be justiciable, if those who have been reviewing this constitution that has reviewed it for 5 years, for 5 times, between 1999 and now, has never talked about the Chapter 2 of the Constitution, then they are nothing but a bunch of people who want to continue to subvert the rights and the fundamental principles that is going to make a state sustain. They are only trying to subvert it. When you look at the Chapter 2, it's talking about the fundamental objectives and directive principles of state policies. And when you look at this Chapter 2, it's talking about the government and the people, what the government is to do to the people. Let us ask ourselves a question, moderator. Let us ask ourselves. Since 1999 to date, what has the government of Nigeria directly gave to you, done to you? Every of their policies are policies of themselves. So we cannot have a situation like this, a country like this, where the leaders are not proactive to give hope to the people, when they are not coming up with programs that is going to benefit the entire populace of the people, when they are not driving agriculture, when we are not generating income, when the government is not being institutionalized to generate funds for the benefit of its people, then you are going to see such nation is not going to go. See, let me tell you, in a situation that we are as people, as electorate, in a situation that we are now, there is no election we can ever have that the people can ever vote in their right consciousness and right mind. That is why I'm talking about a God in a man. What is the duty of a God in a man? A God in a man, we begin to think like God. We understand the fact that we have to do things right. We understand the fact that we have to do things right. We have to give hope to the people. We have to make the people to be able to think straight on election day. They have to understand they have a very, very short time to spend. Not about the amount of money, the amount of state wealth that they are able to gather for their own personal use. We have to begin to talk about national development, state development, state growth. See, we cannot have a proper election. Our Electoral Reform Act will be subjected, we continue to be subjected to reforms and reforms and reforms, in as much as men who are in leadership and men who are still after themselves are not about national development.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Emmanuel. We sincerely appreciate every single input that you've done to this this topic this morning here in our studio. I will also look up to some other day where we're going to be having you live for a longer time and longer discussion on issues, because we believe that you are full of with materials that we know when we have you, anytime we have you in our studio, we have a lot of Nigeria are going to benefit a lot from you. We say thank you very much, Mr. Emmanuel, for this wonderful contribution, and have a wonderful day. Thank you very much, Mr. Emmanuel.
Is it clear?
Oh, also at the moment now we are going to be having our newspaper discussion after we come back from these short breaks, and we are going to be discussing every single bit of our dailies, and I want to see what are the trending issues and some other things that are likely to happen in the next 24 hours or thereabout. Let's quickly have a short break. Thank you. Okay, welcome back from a short break, and here we are going to be having some of our dailies reviews this morning to see what exactly is happening on our national dailies. Abraham, I can see you have some of the dailies on your gadgets there.
Very
well. This one from
with,
Vanguard newspaper.
Vanguard.
Do you see the headline on Vanguard?
Yes. Lecturers can fuel cars, sleep in office to cause.
Are you for real?
No, this is just are they telling us something is happening?
Surely something is happening. Abraham, I don't want us to waste more time on these. These are things that we already know. There's how much that lecturers collecting as salaries. I even heard of recent that they just paid some federal government agencies and some workers last week.
But you know what is really happening is that
You want them to be buying fuel of 1,200 per liter?
you see the
Well,
issue is what is going on in the country is just like the APC is trying to shadow the blame of some kind of thing, because if you look at this issue, the ASU president, Osodike, I think, is it the
yes.
professor?
Yeah.
You know,
Of course, the professor.
he speaks so much about this. He said the level at the rate they are taking this issue with the lecturers, and it's not funny. And look at where we are today. And you want the lecturers to give the student
The best.
the best, it's not going to work with this kind of situation.
Is it-
Because if you expect the lecturer to trek from his house, unless if he's staying in the vicinity of the campus, but if not so, you don't expect any lecturer that will go through this kind of miserable life to come out to stand with the student and tell him, okay, this is how you should go forward in
You know,
life.
don't even stress yourself, Abraham. You know, like was it 2 days or thereabout that like, we're discussing on this in the same studio, talking about the fraud and the corruptions. You know, in the educational system.
Yes.
So these are the things that brings all these things. You know, in the educational system. Is the bedrock of every society. Education should be, and these are our teachers, these are our lecturers. They cannot even fill the cars to come to school.
But
Well,
you
like
know,
I said, I won't want us to dwell much on that. Let's talk about the same on the Vanguard newspaper.
Okay.
They're talking about, look at the below the picture of the president, and I don't know
yes,
who
tax
it says
reform bill,
tax reform bills, fundraise.
from VAT
Okay.
won't be mismanaged by states. Oyedele.
Well,
So I
no,
think
see, let me tell you something on this. You see, the people of Nigeria have already lost the trust, the belief in this government. So there's no amount of what you want to tell them. See, if not for that, okay, look at immediately when this APC led by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu came on board.
Yes, yes.
The first 29th May of 2023, he removed the fuel subsidy.
But this,
Till this moment.
she too, I have to be frank with you. You don't expect Tinubu. I'm not on Tinubu's party, or I'm on his side.
Well, you started
I have
talking,
to no,
since you started
no,
talking like someone that is a spokesperson for this.
no, I'm in Nigeria. And first of all, I want to tell you sincerely that, you see, for Tinubu to go all out for this VAT is that, look, let me tell you sincerely, there's a lot of money out there. Are you getting it?
Okay.
I consult for AMAC. Are you getting it?
Okay.
I consult for AMAC, and do you know that what we see out there, we take care of like 4 states in just AMAC. Are you getting it? So what we're saying is, if what this man is saying is true, then let the tax reform take its
Okay,
course.
we are going to bring that later and to talk about that the issue of the tax or whatever. But I don't want us to dwell much because we have a lot on our decks to discuss this morning. You see, let's come to Punch newspaper.
Okay.
The Punch newspaper headline is saying Nigerians face blackout as gas producer cuts supply, to Gensco. You know, my own issue here is on this issue of blackouts. I don't know what exactly. Can they really tell us exactly what is going on?
you see-
Because for yesterday in Abuja here, close to more than 20 hours there was no light. They brought the lights late hour yesterday. So we don't know the issue. We don't know exactly what is happening. The politics in that.
You see, I was in a program, a Hausa program on this TV, and I said, when you have a lecturer, for instance, who you are giving him mechanic project, what will you find? Are you getting it?
A lecturer.
I'm just
Example.
giving an example. You give, like, okay, you're a journalist, right?
Okay.
And now I give you, okay, I want you to manage like the NMPC.
Okay.
What will happen is that before you come in town with all the,
We're trying to say that
yes.
the current minister of power
has nothing to do.
well,
He has
he never
nothing to
started
do.
this idea did not start on the current minister of power.
No,
You
no.
could remember when they
You
gave
see,
a former governor of Kano State, Kwankwaso, the
okay,
minister of defense,
defense.
someone that never is an engineer.
Mm,
But like I said, because we have a lot on our days,
okay,
Abraham, I don't want us to dwell much on this issue,
okay.
because of the time. Because, well, brief, let's pick one again that
Okay.
it says in Nigerian, Germany to deepen the ties as Tinubu hosts, Simia. I don't know. Well,
Yes. You see, what you are seeing here is that, for me, I think Mr. President is my president.
of course it is.
Politics is out of it now. Now we're talking about the administration, and the administration is for the Nigerian good. So what Mr. President is doing now is going about all these countries that mean well for this country. He went to France the other time, and now I think the German president or chancellor is in Nigeria. That is a plus for this administration, because
Okay.
no matter what, we're going to slap them in one cheek and we're going to hug them somehow.
Fine.
I
If
get
you
it.
say that, Abraham.
So what we're saying is, for him now, he's able to bring two prominent president of the world to this country,
Or leaders.
leaders. Now the other time he invited the Indian Prime Minister.
Okay.
Is a
Modi.
plus, Modi. And you know how much the Indian people have done in this country. I get it. So now he's bringing a German. Do you know what? For me, looking at the way Tinubu is going about his administration, he's making a lot of difference.
Well,
Because if we should have this kind of movement with the previous administration
are you saying we don't have this opportunity
no,
during that?
No,
Well,
because what we have,
it seems like you
what
started
we
talking
have-
like a spokesperson
no,
of the
I'm
pres-
not
of
a
this
small
of this
person,
party.
but
on-
I'm speaking as a Nigerian who believe in administration. Bola Tinubu is an administrator. Take it or leave it, because from the look of things, what he's saying is that I want to change the narrative. I want to make Nigerians see the difference. So what he has done for these two people that he invited, these two leaders he invited to this country, he's proving to Nigerians that, look, in a very short time, Nigerians will see the difference. But we want to challenge him, and we'll keep challenging him, because that is our work as the media people.
Okay, let's go to Guardian newspaper. The Guardian newspapers. Since the Guardian newspaper have the different headlines, because I've been seeing the reason why I have to skip some newspaper is like the same. They have the same headlines talking about BAT, talking about the visit of the German. Was he a chancellor or prime minister? But it seems the Guardian newspaper. The Guardian newspaper. Look at it. Future of opposition uncertain as politicians begins with alignments.
No,
This is serious.
you see, this is one of the games, not even in Nigeria.
Okay.
Just recently in America, you could see the measures. You could see all the you see this alignment happens everywhere. in the
Of course,
world.
it happens.
It's
Of course, it happens.
democracy. It's just the political kind of thing. So what you see in Nigerian politics now, is more like everybody is trying to they are trying to weigh who is going to give us the right thing.
In that
looking
picture,
at
we are
this
seeing
thing-
the president
Yes,
himself, the
you see
APC chairman,
you see
the former governor of that's the former
yes,
governor of
yes,
Kano,
yes,
Omar Ganduje.
yes,
We
you
see the
see
current
Labour-
president,
yes.
the controversial, the controversial chairman of
Labour,
PDP.
yes,
Yes, of
So you
PDP,
see, he is the
Damuji.
man. He's the man in the middle.
And we are seeing
And
Kwankwaso.
now you see, for Damakul, he's trying to be a mouthpiece of Wike. I get it.
Yes.
And Wike will not want Damakul to leave PDP.
In 2 months,
because
and look at the party
Wike-
chairman of the Labour
Wike-
Party too, as well.
And for Labour Party, Labour Party have been in a crisis. But I will not tell you sincerely that these whole people you see in the picture now, they are trying to make noise somehow, but their mouthpiece is somehow very close, because all these people you see, they have issues with their parties. All these people you see in the pictures there, they have party, they have issues, and Mr. President is a divide and rule kind of president.
You mean our current
Yes,
president?
the president. You see, he knows how to play this politics,
Okay.
because he have all it takes.
Okay.
When you talk about administration, when you talk about democracy, Tinubu is somebody that have seen it all.
Okay.
He have seen it all as
I
a
think we don't
president.
have any other person
So
in this country that have
no,
seen it all like the
no,
way it
no,
is.
we have them, but when you talk about the willpower, when you talk about the willpower is what we have people that understand democracy in the country. But you see, for him, he's more like he
Okay,
has grown.
because of time, we have
Yes.
our guest is ready is waiting for
Okay.
us at the moment. But before we go that, let's just quickly say this. The Kano Emirship Tozo,
Yes, please.
still on the Guardian newspaper, is saying that despite security blockage,
Okay.
Sunusi vowed to install new district head of Bichi.
Yes.
That's another issue again.
Yes. You see, the truth of the matter is that for Sunusi, you can't stop him.
Okay.
I get it. What took him out of that emirship place is just because of the man who is the head of
APC
the
now
APC.
at the moment.
There was when you don't want to hear the truth, when you don't want to listen to the truth, and Sunisi is somebody that is too knowledgeable that you just put him in a cage. Sunusi is somebody that will tell you to your face. He don't take no for an answer. And what you see Sunusi is trying to do, for me, he's trying to reject the emirate, because you cannot leave somebody who is not with you. And all the people that were with the former emir are more Bayero. They are more like Stooge. You get the point. They are more like people who don't want to believe with Sunusi. So for Sunusi to have his term, because what the emirate in council is trying to do is like, the moment the NNPP is out of the game, there will be another emir, which I'm not praying to be so, because the whole issue of the emirate, especially in the northern side, is turning to be like a political kind of setting. So I want to say that let Mr. President come in between now to speak.
The president has already come in between, but the role he is playing is what me and you may not want to discuss here.
Yes, please.
Yes, because we are not a baby, we are not a kids. We know
Yes.
what is happening in Kano.
Yes.
I'm not from Kano State, but the fashion of that,
But
I'm
you're
based in
Nigerian.
yes, I'm in Nigeria,
Good.
and I also based in the north. And I understand the culture to some extent,
Yes, please.
and the norms and the tradition of it to some extent. So I clearly know that this is exactly what is happening. So, but like I said, me and you here in the studio might not want to discuss because of one or two, issues that might later, come out from it. But let's leave that aside now. I think for the newspaper review, I think we are done for the newspaper review, and we'll be having our second guest in live in the studio to have some discussion on the second topic. But before that, let's quickly have a short break, and we come back. We're going to have our second guest. Thank you. Welcome back from the short break, and we're going to be having our last topic in focus for today's morning show programs in politics and business television here in Abuja. And the topic is all about. I know there are some issues that when, as a country, as a nation, as a society, you need to, you need um, to celebrate some people. And on the 10th of December is what we know as Human Rights Day. Human Rights Day is observed annually to commemorate the adoption of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, that's UDHR, by the United States General Assembly in 1948. They said fundamental human rights are freedom that are universal, and interdependent. The rights include equity and non-discrimination, freedom from slavery and tutor, freedom of opinion, expression, and information, right of life, liberty, and security, right of education, works, and adequate standard of living, and many more. So we are going to be having our guests live, in studio at the moment. Thank you. Good morning, Doctor.
Morning.
Good morning, Doctor. Doctor, can you hear me? Okay.
I can hear you, but
Doctor,
it's very
today,
faint.
thank you. Yeah, today, let me say today is 12, but yeah, we are still in the celebration of Human Rights Day. So, what exactly is this day telling Nigerians or telling every human being globally? Should I come again?
Hello?
Hello, Doctor. Should I come again?
Hello?
Hello, yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can barely hear you. It's very, very, very
Hello,
faint.
can you hear me?
I can hear you, but it's faint.
Okay, Spain.
It's faint. I think it's network. But can you hear me now? Should I go on?
Hello? Can you hear me?
I can hear you clear and loud.
Okay, but I seem to. I don't know what's happening. Maybe it's the microphone.
What's up? What's up?
But okay, let's try this again, please.
Okay. Mrs. Mrs. Oko.
Okay.
Thank you, Sterling.
You can hear me now, Mrs. Oko.
Yes, I can hear you a bit better now.
Okay. So we said we are still in the celebration of Human Rights Day activities. And what can you tell us the significance of celebrating human rights? And as Nigerian, as a nation, as we see any impacts on human rights activities with our governments.
Hello? Hello?
Oh, hello, yeah, I can hear you clear and louder.
Yes, but some of I heard some of the things you're saying, but I can't quite.
Okay.
Okay. Um, as we still wait for our guest, I think we're going to look at now some of the importance of the Human Rights Day. Is Human Rights Day serve as a reminder of significance of human rights promoting peace, justice, and equality. Mr. Shitu, do you see this happening, especially in our Nigerian setting?
That is what I'm about to ask our guests here. that is there, we say that we've achieved a milestone in terms of what's the contribution of our activists, our we have recently we heard about Dele Farotimi
Far from me, yes.
that was detained, maybe due
They
to
took him from Lagos and
Ekiti.
they to Ekiti. That is his fundamental right. They abused it. And for that one alone, now the whole human right is saying this is false. This is against his right. Because as a human rights lawyer who he is, and as a lawyer who he is, he deserves to be protected. He deserves to be taken care of. And for that reason, we are calling on every Nigerian to stand against that. Because for Farchimi, all of us know how much he has stood for the campaign of the human rights.
Of
We
course.
all know him, how he has stood for the fight against the abuse of the people. So for that alone to happen, no matter what he has done, where he commit that offense, the Lagos State said they are not against that. But for him to be taken to Ekiti, that's to tell you that there is something fishy. And we want to call on the senior advocate, Babalola, to think rightly, because Nigerians and the human rights will go all out if he's not ready to stand out to say, okay, I've understood that this is what he has done, but let's come to a compromise.
Okay, Mr. Abraham, I think we connected back with our guest. Um, Mike, can you hear me now? Please, can you hear me now, Miss Oko?
She's hearing.
Hello, Miss Oko. I can, I can just see her mouth moving, but I can't hear what she's saying.
Yes, it's like but is her volume right? Or
Hello?
Hello?
But I can't hear her
Hello, now
anything.
I can hear you now.
Okay,
Yes.
fine, thank you.
yeah.
We are still in the celebration of Women Rights Activist Day. So the question I'm asking you now is, do you
Oh,
see
I've
that
lost
is
you again.
something we should celebrate in our country, with the level of intimidation and oppression? Why not? Hello? Hello?
Hello. If you can hear me, please.
I can hear.
Practically can't hear you. A while ago, I heard you say hello, but I didn't hear you
But
anymore.
can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
I'm hearing you, but it's a bit faint at the background.
What about now? The question I'm asking you. The question I'm asking you is the question I'm asking you is that is it worth celebrating human
Celebrating
rights in
human rights in
Nigeria? Do you
Nigeria. Do
think
you think
we are in the
we are in the
category as a
category
nation
as
to
a nation to
celebrate that
celebrate
with
that
the level
with
of
the level of
intimidations
intimidation
and oppression
and
by our
oppression by our
government?
government? Oh, okay. Thank you very much for having me this morning. Um, I will begin by saying, in every situation, we have to give thanks, irrespective of whatever circumstance we find ourselves. The fact that the operation doesn't preclude us from celebrating this unique day, because it serves as a reminder that even in spite of gloom and doom, there's just something for us to celebrate about. we've had a lot of successes over the past few months. We might not have it where we might not be where we really want to be, but of course there are steps that are being taken to address certain wrongs. And is there still oppression? Of course. Is there still violation of human rights? Of course. As long as there are human beings, there will be violation of human rights. And that's why we have institutions established by the government to take steps, to address some of these wrongs. And that's why the commission is there to help in addressing some of these wrongs. So, and every other, human rights related establishments. So you might say, okay, in spite of all that is going on, should we really be celebrating International Human Rights Day? Of course, we have to, because that is a continuous reminder that we had signed in onto a treaty. We have obligation to the international community. And we cannot just fold our hands and say, okay, because there is violation of human rights or there is a persistence of it in certain sector, we will not say, okay, we will no longer celebrate that day. That day stands for so many things, especially this year's theme, which is our rights, our future, right now. It's telling, all the stakeholders, all the duty bearers, that whatever it is, we have to take action at this particular moment to begin to redress, address the wrongs that are being perpetrated from every quarter.
Okay.
Mrs. Oko, good morning. Sorry for all the hiccups, but I want to say, or I want to ask you a question. Since you are in the Human Rights Commission, we've seen a lot of abuse of human rights in this country. Like previously, when the young boys all went out to protest, and they were taken to the correctional center, and then where they took them to, most of them were kept in a prison where
For 90
the
days.
terrorists, where the criminals were kept. I don't think, is it part of, is it how it's supposed to be? Is it not their right to be taken to a reminder where they just keep them and say, okay, you people will be in these secluded places? Must they take them to a place where the hardened criminals, where the terrorists are kept? Is it okay for a country like Nigeria?
If you have been following the commission for a while now, you realize that the commission has frowned against that particular step. The commission has also taken steps to make sure that the persons that are behind even the prosecution, of these people are brought to book. We have petition, and that is not done. But you can also agree with me that we don't really have institutions that are, where you can really keep minors. The Boston homes we have around here are really nothing to write home about. They have become like a den of, all manner of things going on there. So the facilities are depleted, they are dilapidated. I mean, we can't even keep a human being in that kind of place. So we do not, subscribe and are not in favor of that action. And we are taking steps to even address that. We have written advisory to the government. We have also, put out, memos out there and press, press statement that this is wrong. That's a gross violation of the rights of the child. So the commission strictly frowns against what had happened. And that's why we're also taking steps to make sure it's addressed.
And the one that just happened recently about the activist and a lawyer, Farutomi, which we know is a Nigerian, despite the fact that, okay, he writes a book, what we're saying is that, um, should he be taken from Lagos to Ekiti to go and be imprisoned there? Is it okay as a human rights commission?
No, I might not want to join issues with what is trending at the moment. All we always say at the Human Rights Commission is the fact that where rights are violated, where individuals have a right to seek redress in whatever courts they deem fit, as long as it's a court of competent jurisdiction. What we always advocate is fair hearing should be given to every Nigerian citizen. No person's rights should be violated. And we also want to understand that where commission does not, interfere as it will amount to subjudice. So that's the comment I would want to.
Okay. Thank you very much for this your very fantastic contribution at the moment. I sincerely appreciate every single input that you've given us this morning, but due to the time that we had, we couldn't have a longer time to have this discussion and to have this, to really break this topic down because of time and some technical issues. But we hope the next time when we have any issues of these human rights, whether it's a year to celebrate or not, we can easily be bringing this topic like this up to have a discussion, a very deep discussion on it. And by then we believe and we hope that you're going to come and to to also accept our invitation, ma.
Thank you very much.
We appreciate. Thank you very much, ma.
Thank you.
You're welcome, ma. Well, due to times we don't have more times to really discuss this topic due to one or two technical issues and thereabout.
It's a topic that need to have like a time on its own where we invite, because you see human rights is not supposed to be a day program. We should have like every
week
time we invite them,
of
like
course.
we invite those in the Human Rights Commission, say, okay, please, we have a program that
topic,
is focused on
of
the
course.
human rights, fundamental rights, and all that. So it's a very good one that today we are focusing on it, because if you see the abuse that happened with those in power, those that are supposed to protect the right of the people, especially the police. Now you now said, are you living in a country where you don't have the right to speak? You don't have the right to say what you think is important?
Okay. Well, like you said, Abraham, this topic or this particular, focus should be something that we should be inviting some critical stakeholder so that we can discuss and let Nigerians know that there is ethics, there is law, and how do we go about these two things without not mixing it together and without someone not infringing on someone's, personality or, rights and, civil rights, so that at least everybody can have a peaceful. Although, yes, we know that even in developed countries, they also have their own challenges. There are pros and cons in every system and every, countries. But like we said, because of time, we've really tried to see we've done justice to some of our topics this morning. And I must say to you, my colleague here, Abraham, you've done wonderfully well. And thank you very much for this.
Well, I thank the men behind the camera for this wonderful moment.
Yeah, it was not an easy task.
They did a very good one. So, and Mr. Shitu, I would love us to have this conversation like again and again, because we are the mouthpiece of Nigerians.
Of course,
and we need to say it the way it is.
Of course.
Because that is what the Nigerian people owns.
Exactly. So thank you very much. So we're going for weather report, and after that we say, and have a wonderful day, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. My name is Shitu Abdul Fattah, the presenter on Politics and Business Television. Good morning, Nigeria. Thank you.